I found a language that programs reality. I think I said something wrong. I'm a linguistics undergrad, the kind of person who spends more time decoding dead languages than speaking live ones. I've always had a thing for obscure manuscripts and forgotten scripts. Stuff like Linear A, Rongorongo, the Voynich manuscript, the kinds that resist translation no matter how many times you run them through a parser. A few weeks ago, I was poking around this cluttered little antique bookstore I visit when I need a break from academic texts. Most of the time I walk out with crumbling novels or fake tomes, things I like to daydream about decoding. But this time, something actually caught my eye. It was a thin, leather-bound notebook wedged between a 1930s Italian phrasebook and a box of postcards. No publisher, no date, just the word Neuer stamped faintly across the cover in what looked like heated iron. And inside, page after page of symbols. Not quite cuneiform, not quite runes. Sharp, geometric, almost algorithmic. I bought it on impulse. When I got home, I started cataloging it, breaking the symbols down, looking for repetition, syntax, anything. Out of curiosity, I brought it to two of my friends. One specializes in proto-writing systems, the other's knee-deep in computational linguistics. Neither recognized the script, but both said the same thing: whatever this is, it's definitely showing the patterns of a language. A few days after I started cataloging it, I noticed something scrawled in the margins that I don't think was there before. I thought maybe I hadn't noticed it, until I realized the ink was different, darker, fresher, almost too precise compared to the rest of the notebook. I flipped through the other pages, searching carefully for anything else I might have missed. That note was the only one of its kind. Not only that, but it seemed like someone had written it recently, maybe one of my friends trolling me. Later that night I couldn't get to sleep, so I checked the notebook again. And the note was gone. No smudges, no sign of ever being there. I started checking the notebook compulsively after that. Every morning, every night. I took pictures, compared scans, even left a piece of tape across the cover to see if it moved. Nothing did. Not at first. Then something did. One morning, during finals week, I woke up and my bedside lamp was on the wrong side. I keep it on the left, I always have, because the outlet on the right has a faulty switch. But now it was on the right, working perfectly. No flicker, no problem. I figured maybe I moved it and forgot. Stress does weird things to your sleep. I kept using this rationalization for the other things happening, but then the scar on my leg disappeared. It was from when I was 7. A bike spoke tore a perfect crescent into my shin. I used to trace it when I was nervous. Muscle memory. And now it was just skin. Like nothing had ever happened. Like I'd never fallen at all. The next day I realized something about the phonetics. The pronunciations were implied on one of the pages. I tried to create a simple sentence based on what I had figured out so far. While writing it down, I muttered it in the pronunciation of the script. Seconds later, my desk chair, the spinny variety, rotated so quickly that the force threw me off. I still tried to pretend it was a glitch, but I couldn't pretend anymore. Not after that. Not after the chair. Not after the page. I panicked. I did something stupid. I burned the notebook. Or tried to. It looked like it burned. Paper blackening, curling, turning to ash. But after that night, I started hearing it. The language. Everywhere. Not like a voice in my head. I'm not crazy. It was ambient. Like the room itself was whispering. Sometimes it described what was happening. A door creaks open. A hand clutches a cup. Other times it predicted things. Things I didn't understand until they happened. I couldn't take it anymore. I stopped sleeping. My skin buzzed with every syllable I didn't recognize. One night, out with some friends at this Italian place near campus, I broke. I muttered something under my breath, just trying to drown it out. That was a mistake. I don't even remember the phrase, but I remember what it did. I got a sudden, violent nosebleed. Couldn't stand. I fainted. My friends thought it was stress. I told them I was fine. I wasn't. The next morning, that restaurant exploded. It was all over the news. Gas leak, they said. Dozens injured. Several dead. But I know it was me. I know it was that word. I should have stopped. I should have told someone. But I was terrified. Not just of the language. Of myself. A few days later, I whispered something not in the script. Just a sentence. English. I think I said something like, you have to be careful in linguistics not to slip through the cracks. A few days later, I whispered something not in the script. Just a sentence. English. I think I said something like, I feel like I'm slipping through the cracks. And then it felt like I did. It didn't happen all at once. At first it was small things. A barista calling the name after mine, even though I stood right there. A group of classmates squeezing past me in the lecture hall like I wasn't even in the aisle. No excuse me, no eye contact, nothing. I joked to myself that I was just being ignored, that people were wrapped up in their own lives, but it kept happening. Professors stopped responding to my emails. My roommate stopped replying to texts. One morning, I passed her in the kitchen and she screamed, dropped her coffee like she'd seen a ghost. And when I said her name, she just stood there, eyes unfocused. Like she couldn't track my voice, like I wasn't there. I left campus that day and nobody turned to look. Not a single person made eye contact. No one held the door. Even the sensors on the automatic doors at the library didn't open until someone else walked up behind me. I tried calling my mom. The line rang once, then silence. When I checked the call history, it said I'd never made it. I tried a mirror. I was still there kind of, just dimmer, less contrast, like I was underexposed in real time. I wasn't invisible. I was being forgotten, in real time, by everyone, by the world. So here I am, writing this from inside my bedroom. I'm scared to leave because then it might disappear too. I hope you guys can see this, and maybe give me advice.